Hello, my mindful meal preppers. My name is Em, and this is Life's Table. I am already hungry, y'all, so hopefully we get through this pretty quickly. We're going to be making an Italian and pork pasta dish tonight. Because we are getting to the end of the month, I want to take this meal and probably the next meal as well, and we'll do a little month in review while making this dish. And I'm so excited and I'm so hungry. So tie back your hair if you have to, put on an apron if you've got one, and let's get cooking good looking because we've got a lot to learn at Life's Table today and we're already hungry. Okay, we'll start off with our onion. We'll go ahead and get that chopped up first. I'm going to cut this in half, and I'm going to save the smaller half for what will be fried rice tomorrow. So come back and have some fried rice with me. Set this aside and peel off these layers, and you all know by now where they are going. It's veggie scrap bag time, y'all. It's the best time of the day. We will be doing something with this, and I hope that yours is looking as full as mine is. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm gonna try to do like a budget-friendly version of like beans and rice, or even feijoada. Dare I say it? We'll see what the budget allows for. We'll go ahead and chop these up into. Let's go with 4. Yeah, we'll go with 4. We'll quarter it this way, and then I'm just gonna do little tiny slices. As ever, these are not going to make your standard uniform Michelin star pieces, but they will make delicious onion pieces all the same. Hopefully no knife accidents have happened for you all. I've gotten through another month unscathed. Let me not jinx it. And I've got like this tiny little nubbin of garlic left, so we'll go ahead and get that separated while we grab a pan as well and put that on our stovetop here. I already had a pot ready to go. We'll go ahead and set our heat to medium the way that we always do. And we'll go back to the garlic now while that heats up. One last little crunch to release the Allison. First takeaway, if you take nothing else away from this month, it is budget. And I hope that I've convinced you all week after week after week that it really is just the most important thing to do. It's how you regain control or gain control of your finances and of your spending. It is how you hold yourself and others in your life with access to your money accountable. And at the end of the day, if it is a significant change that you're looking for, this is going to provide you with the opportunities to make that significant change. Go ahead and crush up our garlic. I'm going to crush it directly over my onion. Budgeting is how you take control of your situation, right? Because it's how you learn and find out about your situation. If you're just blindly spending throughout the month and you have no idea where your money is going, you're probably going to be very surprised to find out how much money you're spending in a month. We don't do a good job of keeping tabs on our finances when it is just us and our memories. Our brains don't like remembering things like that. It's not something that elicits happiness, positive memories, etc. There are some purchases that will elicit those things, and those will be remembered. But for the most part, me going to the grocery store and being like, yeah, $45 today. Like, no, that's not how this works. So we don't remember. We don't necessarily remember all the times that we go to the vending machine. I don't know if you guys are vending machine people, but I know certainly when I'm getting hungry at the office, it gets really tempting to pay a visit there. With that said, how do we begin by budgeting? Well, there are an infinite number of tools and ways to start doing that. I, again, like to start with what I know has already been tracking, which is my bank statements. Let's go ahead and open up our roasted red peppers. You want the oil in them. Don't drain the oil out. And we're going to use about half of my container because it serves about 8 and I need us to serve 4 today. I will reserve this oil to pour into the pan as well. So at least for the chopping part, I'm gonna try to not get too much oil everywhere all over the place. It's looking like about half. Maybe we'll do 1 more. We're just gonna give these a very rough chop. We've gone ahead and we'll wash the oil off our hands. And I'll use this water. Ooh, hey-oh, nice and hot. Wonderful. We'll go ahead and we'll put about 2 tablespoons of olive oil into the pan. 1, 2. This oil is so hot. I'm going to go ahead and start frying these things up on this back burner and then gradually return it to the heat of the front burner. Just because you started on one burner doesn't mean you have to commit to that. And because I'm worried that this is too hot, we'll start back here. It'll still sizzle. Perfect. But it has left the heat and is therefore cooler, at least than it was even a minute ago. I'm going to return this to the heat here. It's going to get a little loud. I apologize. But nice little sizzle going. I will pour in some of this sun-dried tomato oil like I said we would, because we do want to keep some of that oil in with the tomatoes. Oh gosh, it already smells incredible. Yum. While this is going, I'm going to break a chicken bouillon cube up in here just to give it a little bit of flavor. Let's get our pasta getting ready to go. So I've got my pasta here. This serves 8, so I'm only going to use half of it, which means I only need about 2 quarts of water. And while we fill that up, let's get some salt in here. We will also do our parsley. Checking on the water. Water's looking great. Put this on high, bring this up to a boil. We'll add in our parsley. I'm gonna just give it sprinkle over top, like 1 tablespoon of parsley. Because we've purchased them previously, we can also use our Italian seasoning and our crushed red pepper if you want to add a little bit of spice to it, which y'all know I do. Italian seasoning, just a little bit. Crushed red pepper. Woohoo! It's gonna be a little spicy. Black pepper, just a little bit, like that much. And then we want another heavy portioning of sage, about what you did for the parsley, we're gonna do for our sage. If you bought fresh sage, this equates to about 4 or 5 leaves. Move this around, give this a stir. All right, wow, this looks and smells amazing. We've got the colors of Italy in our pan right now. That's how you know it's good. You're gonna wanna saute this until the onions become translucent. So it'll take about 5 minutes or so. While that is happening, I'm also going to salt my water. You want it salty like the sea, so go heavy with it. It's gonna look like too much, it's not. And now, let's break into our pork. I had pork tenderloin, unsliced, uncut on sale. So I bought it, froze it, and portioned it out into servings that I need. So I've got big hunks, but hopefully you guys have just regular slices. But we're looking to get slices, and I do want the fat in there because fat is flavor. So I'm gonna get probably some nice thinner tenderloin pieces this way, maybe 4. Nice, yeah, I'll get 4 out of this very easily. And then we want to slice them into 1/2-inch slices. So we're looking that's not quite a 1/2 inch. I went a little on the lean side, but about 1/2 inch. Going back to the budgeting, the bank statements are going to tell you exactly how you're spending your money and be that rude awakening that we talked about in previous videos. So have no fear. So long as you're not paying cash, your bank is tracking on the money that's coming in and where it's going. So look to your bank statements to get started. And don't be surprised when you find out you're spending a lot more money than you thought on aspects of your life. You can take the next step and look into different budgeting apps, and hopefully you were able to look through that video, the comments at least, to see what people are recommending and why it works for them. As ever, do your own research, see what's going to work for you, seeing what the reviews are, and if the first one you try doesn't work, that's okay. Go somewhere else. No one says you're like locked into this one. Get yourself a couple and see which one you like the feel of. I know what works best for my house and my personal life is a website that my partner actually made that has an expense tracker. And so we go in and we just log all of our expenses that way. Some people, like myself, have said in the past that it's a little bit passive. So if you're looking for an intervention of I need to work on my finances and actually improve my personal financial situation, good old-fashioned pen and paper is going to be kind of the best way to do that. I'm going to go ahead and wash this really quick. All right, we washed our hands. I'm going to give this a stir. My onions are cooking down beautifully. We're going to go ahead, because we are just about ready, we're going to go ahead and put the pork in. All right. I'm going to mix this in together, and then I'm just going to let it sit for about 5 minutes or so, and then we'll give it another stir in about 5 minutes, but make sure these flavors are all combining. Oh, I'm so excited. My kitchen smells so good already. You grab yourself a notebook or a pen and paper or your phone or whatever it happens to be. And every time that you go to take out the card and swipe, or every time that you go to take cash out of the wallet to pay for something, you first have to log it in the journal. What time did you purchase this? What day did you purchase this? What did you purchase? How much did it cost? How much does it subtract and detract from now your total balance? You basically are taking back banking and doing the job of your accounts in logging and tracking these finances. And you will find that that level of effort, putting yourself on like a money diet, if you will have a profound impact. Here's another one, a really, really good one. Speaking of psychology, because I am a psych nerd, pay in cash. Begin withdrawing money, begin paying in cash. And here's why. When I take my card out in the grocery store to pay for something, to pay for my ingredients that I'm purchasing for the week, I go in, I swipe the card, I put it back in. It's almost as if nothing has happened. Okay? If I pay cash, though, I have to hand money to somebody else, and I have to watch how that interaction does not give me money back. I watch myself give money away, and it has a profound impact on our psyche, right? It does impact us psychologically. And that's another reason why the envelope method that we talked about is so effective. I've got water boiling, so we'll go ahead and put our linguine or our pasta in, whichever one you happen to purchase. There we go. Look at that. Drop it in. All right, the rest we save. It even allows us to. It encourages that. All right. I'm going to set this timer for about 10 minutes. It should be just about done at that point. The envelope method, it's the same thing. I withdraw money every week, every month, every day, whatever it happens to be. This is my allowance. And when that money runs out, when I watch myself hand away this money over and over and over again, it makes me less inclined to spend it to begin with. That's why it's so effective. It messes with our minds. whatever it is that you decide to do for budgeting, whatever works for you, Excel, the apps, the pen and paper, the envelope method, name it, whatever works for you. And who's to say the first month it is going to work for you, right? Give yourself a little grace. Be patient with yourself. If you've never budgeted before, the first time it may not work out the way that you were hoping to. You might go drastically over budget because you're not used to it yet. So be patient. Don't give up. Just be patient with yourself. Once you have a good assessment of your current situation, again, we want to look at what our goals are, what our future projections are looking like. So how far off of the 70% daily expenses, 20% debt, 10% savings ratio are we? And again, that's one of the ratios. It's certainly not the only one. I'm going to give this a stir because we're looking just about cooked on one side. Smelling it, it smells incredible. So, we know we've got that 70-20-10 ratio. 70% going towards daily life, your groceries, your rent, your gas, your subscriptions, your gifts for somebody's birthday, whatever it is. The money you spend on a daily basis, that is 70% of your paycheck. 20% and no more than should be going towards paying down debt and certainly meeting those minimum monthly payments, which we'll talk about probably in a later review video. And then that last 10% goes towards savings. Now, if you have no debt, well, wonderful. Put more towards savings, please. 70-30, I think, is like in the ideal, the golden ratio, but it's also not realistic. So don't actually aim for that because at some point you're going to need to take on debt. The 70-20-10 is a much more realistic ratio. So there's that. There's the USDA websites, for example, that say, again, $150 to $200 per person per month in your household on average. So when you're spending $500 per person per month, you know, okay, I need to cut this back by half at least. You also have websites like Bankrate has a cost of living calculator, and MIT has a living wage calculator, and both have done a very good job of calculating what life costs look like in major metropolitan areas, in cities near you. It's usually the closest major city to you. See how far off your spending is compared to the average person in your local area, in the nation, based off of the ratios, whatever it is. Have a comparison. So you've got your current expenses, your projected expenses, and now we look at how to get from current to future. What I want to do now, and I don't know that we actually got the opportunity to talk about this one, but above all other things, in trying to free up some money, what I need to not happen, listen, what I need to not happen is you draining your savings to pay down debt, or you draining your savings to pay for living expenses, or you not prioritizing savings. I don't need that last 10% because I'm never going to retire. I'm just going to work forever. I'm going to give this a stir really quick. Make sure nothing's sticking to the bottom. Wonderful. You need to prioritize savings. And here's why. The second that you don't have a safety net underneath you, Murphy's Law kicks in. If something bad can happen, it's going to happen, right? The second that you remove the safety net underneath you, you're going to fall. Or you increase the risk of you falling and having a significant injury when it should have just been, I land in the net and I'm okay. Please, please, please prioritize saving. We call it pay yourself first. Put money towards savings first. And you can do that a number of ways. You yourself don't have to actually do it at all. What you can do, instead of like having to transfer money into savings every month, you can have your paycheck set up so that a certain percentage of your paycheck just automatically goes towards a savings account. You can set up what we call an allotment, which is essentially that. You're telling your employer or your bank, just funnel the money to this account. I don't want to see it. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to have to deal with it. Another thing that we've seen people do in the past when they are the type of person to dip into savings unnecessarily is they have them open up a savings account in a separate bank. It's a completely different account, completely different bank, and they make it difficult to access that money. They have the money automatically transfer in, but they make it difficult for them to be able to transfer that money out. They have to electronic transfer it, which bank to bank electronic transferring typically takes a couple of days. They cut up the card that comes with the account so that they don't have that temptation. They are not tempted to use it. And that's then how that savings builds. Maybe $100 a paycheck, maybe $100 a month, whatever you can afford, please prioritize saving. At least until the point that you have the emergency savings account, right? That 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses saved up for emergencies. And again, when I say living expenses, I'm not talking about the luxuries, I'm not talking about the wants. I don't care how badly you think you need Netflix or how badly your child thinks they need the iPad. They don't. So, what do I need to keep myself alive for one more month? Rent, gas, utilities, food, so on and so forth. 3 to 6 months of necessities to keep you alive, saved in an account just in case you need it. I've got about 2 minutes left on the pasta, 1.5 minutes. So I'm going to move on because that is a good kind of natural stopping point. Pork is just about cooked through, but we're going to continue to leave it on. I'm going to take a measuring cup. I'm going to turn this heat down just a little bit. I keep carrying enough to get sizzle. I want a 1/2 cup measuring cup. And I'm going to stick it directly in the pasta water and get myself 1/2 cup of pasta water. And that wasn't quite a full half, so I'm going to do a little bit more. I'm going to do 1/2 cup of milk, just to get a nice little creamy going. Right. I'm going to let this just simmer. Okay. I've turned the heat down. But I'm going to set this timer for about 10-15 minutes. I want this to boil down a little bit and thicken up. That's my timer for the pasta, so we'll give that a taste. But yeah, I'm going to give this we're going to do 10 minutes, and then if I need more time, then I need more time. I'm going to taste test this pasta to see how we're doing. There we go. Perfect. We're at the al dente point. I'm gonna go ahead and drain this with my colander. Watch your handles, they will get hot. I'm gonna put this back here just so it doesn't burn on this heat. Pour it back in. Beautiful. And I'm actually going to replace this here with this and pour this in. And that way it'll all simmer and cook together. And that way the pasta gets nice and coated. Oops. Give this a nice little stir so that the pork continues to cook towards the bottom. Please make sure your pork is cooking. Make sure your sauce is simmering and going and thickening up. But yeah, all right. We've got about 7 minutes left, so I'll go ahead and we'll finish off here. I'll put my milk away. All right, so prioritize saving. Keep that savings 3 to 6 months, and if you're looking at that figure and saying, oh my gosh, it's $12,000 for me to meet these goals and have that money in that account, I'm not gonna make it. Start with $1,000. Start with $500. Start with anything, because it is those little steps, it is those small marches forward that will then get you to that final sum, whatever it may be. But you're worth it and you deserve it. And not just you, but whoever else that money is going towards protecting, whoever else is having that safety net underneath them. Please, please, please prioritize it. The next thing, when determining where to put that money, right? If you're going to be opening up a new account, do research on that as well. In the same way that we tell you to research your realtors if you're going to sell a house, or research vehicles if you're going to make a vehicle purchase, or research refrigerators if you need a new refrigerator, or research credit cards to see who is offering good rates, good points, good miles, good whatever. In the same way that you research all of those things, research your accounts. Not all accounts are created equal. Not all banks and credit unions and lenders are created equal. Do your research, dig around and see what best meets your needs, okay? Especially for the accounts that have those goals with them, like emergency savings. Some people say just have it in a standard savings account because you know that that money is safe, you know that it is protected, and you know that it is easily accessible. So it ticks all three boxes for an emergency. I need to know that that money is there, and I need to be able to access it when I need to access it. And if that's at 3 o'clock in the morning, that's at 3 o'clock in the morning. There are other people who say you can maybe afford to put it in something like a money market account or a high yield savings account. We've talked about those in the previous videos, so go back and see them if you want. Based off of the goals that you have though, that is what determines the account that you should be using. Money needs to have a task and a purpose. Gosh, it's so sensitive. It is so finicky. I'm going to go ahead, and if you bought Parmesan, now's the time that we're going to start adding it in here as well. I did buy Parmesan. I'm so excited. I'm going to cut off a chunk with this knife. Nice hefty chunk. Perfect. And we can start grating. Alright, I'm going to use the smallest grater size. Anyone else's dog, make them pay the cheese tax? I get doubly taxed. Let me do this over the cutting board. Like a smart human. Okay? And speaking of smart, great segue. For these goals that you happen to have, and the accounts of, okay, I need to have this money working towards this goal, whatever it is, remember to follow the SMART formula, right? In the same way that money needs to have a task and a purpose, you need to make sure that your goals are following the SMART goal formula so that they're not just dreams and they are actually attainable. Don't just say things like, I want to get rich. Don't just say things like, I need to start saving money. That's not helpful. That's not beneficial. You need to be more specific. I need to save $100 per paycheck until this account reflects this dollar value, and that will be my emergency savings. It needs to be measurable. I'm going to put $100 per paycheck towards savings, or $200, or whatever that dollar amount is, until it reaches this dollar value. It needs to be action oriented, the act of saving money. You can't just say, I'm going to do it. It is the act of saving. And if that's you doing it, or if it's just the bank doing it for you with the automatic allotments that you've set up and established, whatever works. Cheese. Mountain. Love it. All right, dropping it straight in. And we'll save a little to go on top. But, oh, wow, this looks so good. It needs to be realistic. Are you going to be able to put 5 figures into an account in under a year? I mean, I don't know, maybe. It depends on how much money you make. But if you've never saved before, I'm going to guess no. The budget is going to be what tells you that. I'm going to remove this from heat. Let it sit for just a little bit longer. Oh my gosh, it smells so good, guys. While we finish talking about realistic, and then last but not least, time bound, which actually we have already talked about. Our goals need to be specific, measurable. I'm going to pour the rest of this in. Action oriented, realistic, and time bound, time driven. Once they follow that formula, they become a lot more likely to come true, and to actually, you become more likely to achieve them, or perhaps even surpass them. It forces you to hold yourself accountable and not just say, oh God, I need to be doing that, or oh man, I need to work on that. I told myself I would, or I made that as my New Year's resolution, and like, how long did that last? We'll actually talk about that and why they are as ineffective as they tend to be. But yeah, once you follow that formula, then it becomes easier to make these things a reality. So, budget, prioritize savings, follow the formula, 3 to 6 months, 70, 20, 10. Use those SMART goals. Have a task and a purpose for your money. And this concludes our review for the day, just in time for us to have some delicious dinner. Thank you all so much for taking time for you today. I hope that you enjoy, and I'll see you tomorrow for some delicious pork fried rice. Bon appetit. I forgot to mention one final note about your sun-dried tomatoes. They need, and you can see on the back of the bottle, it'll tell you how to store them. You can store them in the refrigerator, that's totally fine, but you need to make sure that the oil covers the remaining tomatoes. That's how they last so long. The olive oil and the oil in the tomatoes act as a preservative. If you poured in too much, like I just did, just add a little bit of olive oil to the top of it, you'll be fine. But make sure they're covered in oil, stored in the fridge, they'll be great. All right, bon appetit. My whole house smells like an Italian restaurant, and I am so excited to get tucked in. We'll go ahead and try a little bit. Oh my gosh. I cannot wait for you to try this. This is incredible. No words. This is amazing. I hope that you all enjoy it too. Thank you for taking care of you today. Bon appetit.
Hello, my Mindful Meal Preppers. My name is Em, this is Life's Table, and welcome to another Mindful Moment. As always, the instructions for this dish are on the screen. Feel free to get right into assembling, or you're also welcome to close your eyes, find a comfortable, neutral position, and pause for perhaps the first time today to take 1 minute for you. The choice is yours, but I promise the instructions on the screen won't go away. Take a deep breath in and shift your focus to the sounds of your house. Perhaps the washer is cleaning a load of laundry. Perhaps the TV is on in the other room. Perhaps all is quiet and you are truly able to hear the home around you. With another deep breath, thank your house for keeping you safe and sheltered, and thank you too for taking this time for you today. I hope that you enjoy. Bon appetit.